Well, hello once again. My name's Neil Cook. I'm the Psychic Chef, and here on my YouTube channel today, I'm going to make burritos with a difference. So stay with us, keep watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. So the first thing we're going to do is oil our pan, and I'm using this special large pan. It has a thin bottom and it'll help to brown the meat a lot quicker. So in goes the oil, and then our minced beef. And you're probably wondering why I'm using 2 kilos of minced beef. So obviously you make it to the size you want it to. This is also going to be lunch at a later date and tonight's evening dinner. So in goes our minced beef, and we're going to season it with salt, and pepper, and we're now going to brown it off. So I'm going to add some garlic granules for seasoning. I do have fresh garlic, but I'm just going to cut the corner and add some granulated garlic, and we will be adding more garlic at the end. So what I'm doing here is looking to reduce as much liquid as possible to the extent that we get a nice golden effect on the minced beef. I will be adding onion and mushroom, no tomato but tomato puree, because the main ingredient other than this will be going on top of this within the burrito. If you want to know which pan I'm using, it's the Master Pro. I don't know if you can see that, Master Pro, and it's a large 12-litre saucepan, excellent for rice, spaghetti, and it's a non-handled lid, if you can see that, and that just sits straight over the top, and those are that's your seal. So I'm going to add the equivalent of 1 large onion, and I will be adding more onion to the top of the burrito within the wrap, closer to the end. My onion is now beginning to soften, and I'm going to add 1 red and 1 green bell pepper. These are roughly diced, and they will break down within the sauce. I've now reduced the heat down to around 4. I'm using an induction hob, and I'm adding some sliced mushroom, roughly around that thickness, but it will shrink as it's absorbed in all the juices. So just off camera, I've chopped some onion. There's the equivalent of 1 medium-sized onion there. It's been chopped very finely, along with some spring onion. What do you call them from where you come from? Some call them scallies, I call them spring onions. So these are going to sit on top of the meat as it goes into the wrap. So as you bite down, you're going to get them flavours hitting you first. So the juices have almost disappeared in here now. So we're getting ready to add our cooking sauce. and this is almost juice free, and the reason why we do that is we want all the juices, the fats, the flavours to go back into the meat, so when we add our sauce, whichever type you use, this is a shop bought one, this will coat and stick to the meat, so every piece of meat will have its own flavour and sauce wrapped around it. It won't be a puddle of like what I used to call spaghetti bolognese soup. I've reduced the heat slightly and we're just going to add this pouring sauce. There's only one jar of it. It's around 500 gram, so around 15 fluent ounces. And we're going to just mix this in. And it's only one jar for 2 kilo. Now you may not think that's a lot, but you only want the meat to be coated in the juice, not swimming in the juice, if that makes sense. So there'll be more meat than there is juice, just like that. It's up to you what sauce you use for this. You can lace it with hot sauce if you prefer the hotter version of it. You can use your chili sauce you would normally make a chili con carne with. You can even use a fajita sauce or seasoning to do it as well. What we're going to do now is cook all these juices off, so we're just left with the meat itself and the veg which is in there, and then this side of it is all done. Right guys, a question for you. Is there a right way or wrong way in making foods, authentic foods? Certain things are made in certain ways around the country, but surely if you have all the flavours and all the ingredient, does it really matter what it looks like once it's on the plate, providing that it tastes just like the real thing from that country? Does that make sense? Basically what I'm saying is, none of us are qualified chefs to an extent that we get everything right to a T. So therefore, providing that the presentation looks good and the taste is good and you and your family like it, then there's not really much you can complain about, is there really? So that's all cooked now. That's going to rest in its flavours. The next step is getting the wraps together, ready to backfill it so we can make a British burrito. Right, when it comes to making the burrito, we will get our wraps and we can either line a large bowl like this, or we can actually use a clean grill and then line our pan like this. They shouldn't stick. Just ensure that you're going to have enough coverage for the bottom. Let's get rid of that one. And we want it pretty much half and half, so it's covering half in the tray and half over the edge. These come in packs of 8. I believe. No, 6. But fortunately I got 2 packs, so we're going to have more than enough. And then we're going to use 2 for the base, or maybe 1 just to cover that. And then once we folded everything over, hopefully we'll just put 1 across the top as well. What I'm going to do now is get my refried beans, and I'm going to put a thin layer on the bottom. And this is something you can get creative with. There's no right or wrong way of doing this. Whatever flavours you want in this burrito, that's your choice, whether you want it hot, mild, or something else. whether you follow these steps to the exact method I'm using or you try something different, this is entirely up to you. It's your cook-off, it's your meal. So roughly do that. I'm bringing up the chili up to heat because obviously we're going to transfer this to the oven once it's fully made up, and we want the minced beef to be at temperature because it's not going to spend that long in the oven. And now we're going to add some Burrito just to make it a little bit crunchy. We're just going to slightly break them so they're not going to rip through the bread, through the wraps. And this is just going to be part of the bite each time. We'll probably eat this with a knife and fork rather than picking it up because of its size, but this is a family size. So like I said, chili Doritos, we've got the refried beans on top, and we're going to now do layers and layers and layers. It's a little bit of cheese which will melt its way through the meal. Use your favourite cheese. I'm using Red Leicester because us British love our Red Leicester. And then if we just reduce that down, we're now going to add the filling. It's all going to be covered up with a wrap, so it doesn't have to be perfect, and it will self-level itself as we do a little trick at the end which I'll tell you about. Excuse me leaning over the view there, guys. So there's our mince, and then we'll start again. Some more broken Doritos. These are the chili ones, like I said. I do know there's a video on my YouTube channel where we do this with chicken fajita style, and you'll be able to find that on that link there. And then another layer of cheese. If you're brave enough to pick this up, then by all means pick it up and eat it. Let's get another layer on top of it. You will get some of the oil going through to the bottom layer and potentially make your wraps a little bit soggy, but we're popping this in the oven anyway, so hopefully they'll firm up a touch. So that's what's left after making this, and this is from around 2 kilo of minced beef. And one last time we're going to add our layers. Nothing special here, just break and go. Make sure there's no pointy up parts which are going to pierce the wrap. And then layer it with cheese. This is extremely filling, it is. It's going to be the perfect barbecue meal, family meal, one of them cold winter day meals, what I call a winter warmer. And now we're going to use the chopped veg. This is not cooked, nor is the onion, but this will give that crunch on every bite we take. I'm not going to add jalapenos within this because they'd be too hot for my partner Vicky, and she's not a spicy hot person when it comes to taste. And then our spring onion. So salad on the top to give us that crunch. And then we're going to lay 2 wraps over here, ensuring that everything's sealed within. And then if we fold everything back on itself, let's just get that back one. Just firmly press it down like that so it looks like an envelope. Like I say, it will self-level itself. Just nice and firm, not too hard. We don't want anything to rip or tear. And that's what we're looking to create. It's about A4 size, I think. And once it's been in the oven and it's starting to brown up, we're going to add some salsa as a base on top of here, and then some cheese on top of the salsa and a few. So the oven's up to temperature, it's around 180. I've just put an old tin baking tray on top of there to stop any direct heat getting on it. It is a fan assisted oven. I'm just going to sit that like that in there, and we'll check on it in around 10 minutes. Right, let's see where we're at. Burn my eyebrows. And we'll pop that up on there. Can't feel anything for my mittens. Right, does need more time in the oven, and I'm going to crank it up to 200 for about 10 minutes, I would say. What we're looking to do is make this crispy as well as thoroughly cooked. We know the minced beef is cooked, we just want the wraps crispy as well. Right, we're at the final part. It's been in the oven for plenty. I'm just going to put some more refried beans on in a fashion. They're crispy now, but not burnt. They haven't browned. Just be careful when you're brushing this on, you don't lift the wraps up. I think I've just nearly done. My arm's in the way, I do apologise, guys. So basically what we're doing is making a pizza-like top on this. I can leave it still brown towards the edges and just concentrate on the middle. Plenty. Some crunchy greens, bell pepper. Our spring onion and raw onion. The remaining amount of cheese. And some of you are probably thinking this looks like a heart attack on a plate, but it's all down to your portion. It's however much you cut off and come back for seconds. It is made with low fat mince. There's a lot of veggies in there, so class it as your father did. Now the crumbs left over from the Doritos, which I've broken up, are going to be a little crunchy topping, and they will really crisp up like you find with nachos. And back to the oven. My mouth's watering now just thinking about this. Right guys, here we go. The final product. Nice and crispy on the edges, as you can hear. Some seepage in the corner, but never mind. And then one amazing fajita or chili beef, whichever way you make it, burrito. Obviously, if you hadn't put topping on this, you could turn it out onto a board, but because I put a cheese and salsa topping on this, it's not going to work. Right guys, so there you go. This is the final product. I've now mixed a lovely guacamole sauce up with mayonnaise, and we're now going to go and share this. Hope you like the video guys. Don't forget like and subscribe if you like what you see.